Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Savannah Chrisley reveals shocking name federal prosecutors called her parents. Former Chrisley Knows Best star Savannah Chrisley has revealed the shocking name federal prosecutors called her parents. They were sentenced to a combined 19 years behind bars, but were released in May 2025. So what were Todd and Julie Chrisley referred to as? Keep reading for more details. This has been a long 2.5 years dealing with Todd and Julie Chrisley heading off to jail. It started long before that with their trial, and the family hid a lot of their sadness and fear. They kept going with Chrisley Knows Best, which showed a lighthearted side and invited a lot of laughter. Sadly, when they were sentenced, Savannah Chrisley took over for her parents. She became the guardian of her younger siblings, Grayson and Chloe, while fighting for Todd and Julie's freedom. In May 2025, they were pardoned by President Trump, but they maintained that their trial was never fair. Now Savannah, who has amassed a new fan base through her podcast, Unlocked, is opening up about what federal prosecutors called her parents. They had a shocking name, and it was the Trumps of the South. Although they may have felt this was an offensive name, Savannah and her family embrace President Trump and what he stands for. Therefore, they turned it into a positive, as it did not hit as the prosecution had hoped. Yes, there were similarities between the Trumps and Chrisleys. Both are no strangers to reality television, as President Trump helmed The Apprentice. Todd and Julie Chrisley showcased their lives on Chrisley Knows Best. Then Chase and Savannah Chrisley headed over to Growing Up Chrisley for a new spin on the reality series. Both families have been on trial and feel they have been treated unfairly. So yes, the moniker makes sense. At the end of the day, both families are attempting to do what they love and keep on going. Savannah Chrisley will join her family in their new reality series, Back to Reality, which will air on Lifetime. It will start before Todd and Julie Chrisley are released from prison, and the harsh reality of what they went through. Furthermore, it will showcase the struggles their kids faced without their parents and how hard they fought. Finally, it will explore their release and the couple reuniting after 2.5 years away from each other. Fans of the family are more than thrilled for this to premiere. Crying happy tears. Truly. So glad Mom and Dad are home. I'm not gonna lie. All the way here up in Washington State, I was pulling for Mom and Dad. I can't wait to everyone again, especially Nanny Faith. This should be an adventure. And a lot of praise will go to the current administration for helping free Todd and Julie. What do you think of the nickname prosecutors gave to Todd and Julie? Moreover, do you think Savannah Chrisley cares as long as her parents are free? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Savannah Chrisley has never been one to shy away from speaking her truth. Whether on television screens during her family's hit reality show Chrisley Knows Best, or through her popular podcast, Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley, she has consistently shown fans that she's willing to discuss what others might consider too raw, too personal, or too controversial. However, nothing prepared her loyal audience for her most recent revelation, a chilling detail about her family's ongoing legal battles that has left the internet buzzing and fans both shocked and angry. A family torn by legal woes. The Chrisley family's highly publicized legal troubles have been front-page news for years, with Todd and Julie Chrisley sentenced to federal prison after being found guilty of financial crimes. For Savannah, who has stepped into a parental role for her younger siblings Grayson and Chloe during this ordeal, life has been anything but ordinary. But what most people didn't know, until now, was how federal prosecutors allegedly referred to her parents during closed-door meetings and court proceedings. According to Savannah, these terms weren't just unprofessional, they were shockingly derogatory. Savannah's emotional revelation. On her latest podcast episode, Savannah began softly, almost cautiously, her voice carrying the weight of someone who had held this information inside for far too long. "I always try to keep things classy," she began, taking a deep breath. "But I also promised all of you that I would be honest. And today, I need to tell you about something that still haunts me. The way prosecutors talked about my parents when they thought nobody was listening." Savannah revealed that she obtained information through legal filings and transcripts that were not widely shared with the public. In these documents, federal prosecutors allegedly referred to her parents with what she described as a name meant to dehumanize them completely. While Savannah did not repeat the full phrase on air, she gave enough of a description for listeners to piece it together. The term, she said, implied that Todd and Julie were nothing more than a con artist power couple who manipulated their way through life. "Imagine," Savannah said, voice trembling, "sitting in a courtroom, knowing your parents are already facing unimaginable consequences, and hearing them be reduced to a caricature, a joke. It wasn't just about proving a case anymore. It felt like tearing people down for sport." Fans react in shock. Within hours of her podcast dropping, social media exploded. Fans took to Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to express their outrage. One fan tweeted, "No matter what they did or didn't do, people deserve respect during due process. That's disgusting behavior from prosecutors." Another chimed in, "Savannah just exposed something that shows how broken the system is. The government should be neutral, not calling people names." Others, however, saw the issue differently, arguing that federal prosecutors often use strong language to establish narrative framing in high-profile cases. Still, the consensus among Savannah's followers was clear. No one expected to hear that kind of language used in an official capacity. A daughter's pain and determination, Savannah has been candid about the toll her parents' incarceration has taken on her family. She has repeatedly emphasized that, regardless of one's opinion on the case, her parents are human beings deserving of dignity. "I know my mom and dad aren't perfect," she said, "but nobody deserves to be called out of their name, especially by people representing our government. This is why I fight so hard to make sure their voices are heard and their humanity is acknowledged." Her revelation sparked a new wave of sympathy from those who may not have previously followed the Chrisley saga closely. For some, it became less about celebrity drama and more about the emotional cost of public humiliation in the justice system. The bigger conversation about justice. The name-calling incident has opened up broader conversations about courtroom ethics. Legal experts weighed in online, noting that while strong language is sometimes used to describe defendants' alleged actions, referring to people by names outside their legal identity can raise ethical questions. A retired federal attorney tweeted, "It's one thing to describe conduct in harsh terms. It's another to use nicknames or labels that dehumanize defendants. Prosecutors must maintain professionalism at all times." Civil rights advocates have also stepped into the conversation, pointing out that language can influence how jurors and the public perceive defendants, potentially undermining fairness.